Hi all, this assignment is going to require that you code in this program called CoderZ. And this is going to allow you to code an EV3 around a farm. EV3s are common robots that are used in some elementary schools and middle schools for their robotics teams and for learning some subjects such as math and science. So the first thing you're going to do in this is create a free trial. We'll just start now. And you'll watch through the couple videos and then we'll get into our activities. So after each activity, we'll just click Next Activity. So we watched the first two videos, Robots on the Farm and the CoderZ introduction. And now we're going to get to our first mission. So this is Start Planting. In order to move the robot, we'll click the Run button. In between running, you can also click Reset Simulation to set everything back up to the beginning. So let's see what happens when we click Run Simulation. You see the robot is moving forward as this says. It is planting flowers, yellow flowers, continuing to move forward, and it went for 4 meters this way. It took a right to go towards the target, and then it moved forward another 6 meters until it got to the target. So this is what our mission is going to be for each one of these activities. This is debugging, means there's something wrong with the code. So let's take a look at the tips and see what to do. So click the tips up here, run the code first, and try to fix one problem at a time. If the robot isn't going far enough, maybe the number of the drive distance blocks should be higher than 8. So right here we have the number 8. We'll try switching that to a 9, which is just a little higher than 8. Then we're going to take a right instead of a left. So let me change that back to an 8, and we'll see what's wrong first. Let's hit play or run. So I didn't change anything from the original. It's driving forward, as it says, for 8 meters. It didn't quite go far enough, but it also now is taking a right instead of a left. It was supposed to go towards the target, and it was hit by the tractor. So we're going to stop, and then up here we're going to hit Reset Simulation. Then we're going to change this number from an 8 to a 9, and we're going to take a left instead of a right. So right here it says turn right, we'll switch it to turn left. And I can retype in the comment area left, although that won't change any of the code. It'll help me know what it's supposed to be doing. So it's going to turn left and drive 6 meters. So let's hit play and see what happens. Great, so we made it all the way to the target. Take a look at the code. That's what yours should look like. Let's go to our next activity. Now we have to write our entire code ourselves. So instead of them giving something to start with, we're going to change the code and tell it what to do. Let's get an idea of what we need to do. We need to drive forward. So the EV3 needs to drive forward, grab all these flowers. Then it needs to drive left, or take a left, and then drive forward again. Then it needs to take a right, drive forward, and then take a left and drive forward. So if we look through our tips, it'll tell us that we're going to be pulling information from movements for forward, and we're going to be pulling information from movement to take lefts and rights. So sometimes with coding, you need to do a little at a time in order to figure out the distance to go. You can also duplicate, which will help you save time on going into the side each time that you need it, and dragging and dropping, you can duplicate. But we do have to start somewhere. So let's drive forward. And we know that we have to drive forward and take a left. So we're going to drive forward, and we're going to turn left. Now, I know I need to go more than 1 meter, because 1 meter is not going to make me go very far. So on this activity, I actually know I need to go 5 meters. And then I'm going to turn left. I'm just going to show you what that looks like after hitting Run Simulation. All right, so I went forward and I took a left. Now I need to go forward again, take a right, go forward, take a left, go forward. So I'm going to drag all of that information out after I hit Reset Simulation. And remember, you can duplicate the blocks. Okay, so now that I have everything dragged out, let me see what happens after I hit run simulation. So we took a left, we're going to drive forward. Now we're taking a right, we're going to drive forward, and this highlights to show you what it is doing on the screen, turning left, and then it is driving forward, all the way to the target. After your mission is accomplished, you'll click Next Activity. Once again, watch through these videos as you go through. It's going to tell you more about robotics and about how it's used on the farm. All right, so now we have to debug a little bit and make some decisions. So let's go to our light bulb, our tips. It says the color in the simulations don't match the colors in the code. Right now it's saying the flowers right here are white and red, but what I see is yellow and blue. So that's incorrect. We have to fix that. We might have to run the code a few times to figure out if the flowers turn yellow or blue, what happens. So sometimes the flowers will turn yellow. When they turn yellow, you have to turn one way to get to the target, which will be in this mound or this mound. Other times it'll be blue and you have to turn the opposite way. And we do have to change the color by changing the drop-down menu. And once we do that, we'll also change it in the comments, so it'll make more sense whenever we're reading through those directions. So I'm just going to hit play just so you can see what happens, and then we'll make our changes. There's the target. Notice the flowers are blue, but it doesn't know that they're blue, so it accidentally ran into the cow up here. Oh no. So let's hit stop. We'll reset our simulation. Now I know if they turn blue, I'm going to be taking a left because the target was on the left with the blue flowers. So I'm going to change the first option. And the opposite, if it is yellow, you're going to take a right. So I'm going to change this first option from white to yellow. And when it's yellow, it's going to take a right. So I'm going to change the word white to yellow. Now, if the flowers are yellow, then the EV3 is going to turn right, and it'll go towards this way, this target. Now, if I want it to turn left, the flowers will be blue. So whenever the flowers are blue, it's going to turn left, just like that example was, towards the target. So I'm going to change this word to blue. And now if it's blue, it's going to turn left. So let's hit play and see what happens. Right, so the target's on the right, the flowers are yellow. It senses that the color is yellow, it's going to turn right, and it's going to go towards the target. So this is what your code should look like. Okay, so it looks like the program is missing a few code blocks. Add them in to get the robot to the right spot. So let's take a look at tips. Which colors do you need to check for, and what does the robot need to do? So we're going to find the blocks, we're going to use sensors, we're going to use data, we're going to use movement. And you're going to use the code from the last mission as a clue. Remember, we use color sensor, and all it says is color and color name. And whatever color the flower is, that will tell it to either turn left or right. So let's get our code in there. So for an example, what's going to happen is EV3 is going to drive down. It has to make it all the way down to these flowers, which will either be red or blue. Depending on the color, it's either going to take a right or left, and these mounds are going to be a target instead of just those mounds. So let's change it to if then. So what's going to happen is we're going to go to sensors, and we're going to drag color sensor, the color and color name out, and drag and drop it to this first spot. You'll see it highlight. Drag and drop it to this first spot that looks like a puzzle piece. So if color sensor, color, get color name, we still have to tell it what the color is. So let's go to data, and we're going to drag color down to this last spot here. Like I said, it's either going to be red or blue, so we're going to change that, in this case, to red. And what happens if it's red? Then we want it to turn right. So I'm going to go to movement and drag turn right down here next to the do, the first do, and I'm going to have it turn right. So if the color is red, then it's going to turn right. We're going to do the same thing in this next section here where there's missing puzzle pieces. So we're going to go to sensors, drag this to our first missing puzzle piece, the color sensor, color, get color name. And then we're going to go to data, and we're going to get color. And like I said, it's either going to be red or blue. So we'll change this one to blue. And then we're going to tell it to turn. And in this case, it's going to turn left. So if these flowers are red, it'll turn to the right, and the target will be that side. If the colors are blue, it'll turn to the left, and then the target will be on that side. So let's hit play and see what happens. So the color of the flowers are red. It is going to turn right and go towards the target. So this is what your final code should look like. Okay, so we're starting with no code, so we have to add all of the code ourselves. Let's see what the tips say. Figure out how to make the robot turn at the flowers before moving on. Write a comment plan to help you keep track of your code. And this is a suggestion for the comment plan. So it's telling us that we're going to drive forward 4 meters. If the flowers are yellow, we'll turn right. If the flowers are white, we'll turn left. And drive forward 5 meters and turn right, and then drive forward 4 meters. So let's add all of that code underneath program start. So the first thing we want to do is movement, and we're going to drive forward, and it said we're going to drive forward 4 meters. So EV3 is going to drive 4 meters to get to the flowers. Then we're going to add a comment, and we're going to tell the EV3 if the flowers are yellow, we'll turn right. And now we're going to add the code that goes along with that. So we'll go to control flow, and we're going to choose this one here that has the blue plus symbol. We'll drag and drop it under comments. And it says if, remember we have the puzzle piece that we have to add to it, so we're going to go to sensor, and we're going to add this color sensor, color, get color name. And in this case, it's going to be data. We're going to grab color and change that to yellow, because we're saying if it's yellow, it's going to turn right. And then we want to tell it to turn right. So we have to go to movement, and we're going to grab turn and turn right. So we're halfway there. Now we have to do what happens if the flowers are white. So I'm going to duplicate comment, and I'm going to say if the flowers are white, we'll turn left. And I'm going to duplicate this other code. You can also drag and drop it again, but I'm just duplicating it to save time. Now I'm saying if the color is white, I'm going to turn left. All right, so we're not quite done yet, because after it turns, it's going to still have to make it to the mounds, which are going to be the targets. So I want it to drive forward, and I'm going to have it drive for 5 meters. And then I'm going to grab movement, turn, and I'm going to turn right. So we'll drive forward, and we'll turn right. In both cases, they're going to turn right. And then I'm going to drive forward another 4 meters. So let's hit play or run and see what happens. Okay, so we have the target over here. The flowers are yellow. It's telling it to turn right, drive forward another 5 meters, turn right, and then drive another 4 meters. So this is what your final code should look like for Pumpkin Patch. Let's go on to our next activity. Once again, watch through these videos to learn more about farming and planning. And this is going to be our final mission. It says get creative, but we're going to just keep it simple on this one. And all I have to do is make it to the target. In order to make it to the target, I'm going to have to go forward. I'm going to have to go to the right, forward again, to the left, and then forward again. So I'm going to just stick with movement for this one. I'll go forward for 5 meters. Then I'm going to go to movement. I'm going to turn right. Then I'm going to go to movement again, and I'm going to go forward for 9 meters. Then I'm going to go to movement, and I'm going to turn left. So I'm going forward, taking a right, going forward, taking a left, and then I have to go forward again for 4 meters. So let's hit run and see what happens. So we're going 5 forward, we're going to take a right. We're going to go 9 forward. And we're going to take a left now. And we're going to go 4 meters forward. And we made it to the end. All right, that is your last mission that you need to do. Good job, guys. Our last activity is just simply getting your certificate. So type your name in here, hit submit, and then you're going to take a screenshot of this page that you completed all of the missions. Take a screenshot, and that is the screenshot that you will submit for this assignment.